What's up, everybody? Welcome to Setting the Edge. This is the third week of our show. I'm going to start off introducing my co-host, and then we'll jump in talking about what we're doing here, why we are here, and try to give you guys some winners. So starting in my top left corner, I got the man, the myth, the legend, rocking the Dolphins jersey, the Miami Homer. As always, I already know one of his picks. There's no doubt about it. My guy, Goated Marino on Twitter. Make sure you follow him. Andy, say what's up to everybody.
What's good, fellas? Who's ready to make some bread?
Listen now, before I even swing it to Tony, let's talk about the Dolphins. Let's talk about the Canes last week. I think probably more about the Dolphins. Just give us like an elevator speech. You know, like you get in the elevator, you got a couple seconds before you get to the next floor. Tell the people about that Dolphins win.
Brother, this defense is for real. Matt Jones, like I've told y'all, I've been telling y'all since last year, he is not the one. He is not that guy. I'll be surprised if the Pats win 8 games this year. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. I like it. I like it. And in my top right corner, coming off an impressive, but it got scary at the end. I thought the Eagles were going to eagle a little bit there, but Tony Schwartz, you already follow him. If you're here, you already follow that guy. So, Tony, what's up? Give your elevator speech about the Eagles. Go ahead and give us a little, you're excited. Fly, Eagles, fly. I got it.
Yeah. Offense looks great, right? As we expected it to. But the defense was the selling point, man. That's what I thought the strength of the team was going to be in order to kind of win on the edge. And they were so disappointing. It was a really tragic showing from the defensive line, which I thought was going to be the strongest component of the team. So I'm pumping my brakes. I do think that I want them to prove themselves wrong before I start judging them too harshly. Maybe it's just week one jitters. It's still on paper a great D-line. But I'm not so sure about that depth as I was to begin the year.
Yeah, AJ Brown had a hell of a game. He's on my fantasy team, so I was appreciating that. I know. Exciting to see that.
I didn't him in fantasy this year. I completely skipped him.
He probably the best receiver the Eagles have had since T.O. in a lot of ways. So very interesting to see that. I see Sebastian, our guy, is already in the chat. I was with him at the Penn State game. Let's see, what was it, last Saturday? They played the Ohio University. He hit the over. He's a degenerate like the rest of us. He had that Down Q. They're not a sponsor of the show, but we'll shout out my guy Down Q, Sebastian, for hooking us up. So what we are here for, since we're blabbering on about ourselves, this is brought to you by Better Edge. Better Edge is a sponsor of 5 Reasons Sports. It is peer-to-peer betting. It is different than your normal sports book. It has its advantages because you are playing in a marketplace. It's very much like trading stocks and things like that. Really what you can do is you can take advantage of people that want the wrong side of line. So, in other sports books, maybe you're looking at a -3.5. You got to pay points to get to -3. Not on Better Edge. No juice, no vig, low vig, if any vig at all. It saves you money in the long run because juice is what's going to build those casinos in Vegas and Atlantic City. And Better Edge, while they're, I'm sure, doing very well, this is not going to come off of your pocket. So you can buy points. You can buy better lines. You look and you know what? Tony Schwartz wants to buy the Chiefs tonight -7 because they're just going to kill it. Well, I might want to get those points and I don't have to pay for it. So it's very much to your advantage shopping on the marketplace on Better Edge. That's where we have our competition, and that's what our show is about. You get to make 10 picks, sides or totals, college football, NFL. College football, we do top 25. We got all the NFL games. This week's competition is pretty simple. We've done in the past. Last week, it was finishing the top 50%. You doubled up your money. It was a $10 entry. I went 7-3. I got first place. I don't know how you guys did. I know Tony made money. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I came out about even. It was about even.
I doubled up. That's what I'm gonna do every week.
Okay, I didn't know you made
the crown though. You got the crown, so respect.
I did. But the thing is, when you do a double up like that, I got first, but I made just as much as everybody else. I just doubled my money. The previous week we did a winners take all. I wish I would have won that one. We had a guest of ours win that one. So this one is different. It's the pace car. It's a challenge. Basically, I am the pace car. You got to try to beat me. So out of my 10 picks, if you do better than I do, you make money. If we have 100 people in there, it's $5 a pop, $500 in the pot. If one person beats me and I beat everybody else, $500 in your account. If 10 people beat me, you split it down, $50 a piece out of that $500 pot. So you kind of hope that I do poorly, but you also hope not a lot of people do better than me. So, it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to switch. Yeah, we're gonna all be the pace car at one point. I've already talked to Ethan Skolnick. He's gonna be the pace car at one point. That's gonna be great because everyone is going to eat. It'll be the first time in 5 Reasons history that everyone is gonna eat. We're taking Ethan's money. It's gonna be the greatest thing ever. We're gonna let him heal up though. Shout out to Ethan. He had a little knee surgery, but he'll be back. He'll be back. Boys, are we ready? Let's get this going.
Let's get it.
Born ready.
We're starting tonight, Thursday night football, NFL. It's a heck of a matchup. Chargers and Chiefs. Chiefs are at home. It's their home opener. On Better Edge, the line is Chiefs -4, over under 54.5. And this is the first time, I believe, in show history that we are all 3 betting on this game. So I'm going to start with my guy, Andy. What do you got on this game?
Brother, I'm going to have to go with the Chargers +4. Chiefs, they looked great week 1 against Arizona. Arizona really surprised me with how not well they did. Giving up 44 points to the Chiefs without Tyreek Hill, it was weird. I didn't expect that. They didn't perform well. However, Chargers, they were in a little battle with the Raiders. They still covered, but 19-24. I think they're going to come up this week. I know they don't have Keenan Allen. J.C. Jackson's going to play on defense. I'm still not a huge believer of the Chiefs. I know they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by 4. I think they'll win by 3, so we'll cover.
I like it. Tony, what you got?
Orlando Brown was already in the media talking about needing to take mental reps about the edge rushers that are going to be coming at them tonight. I still feel like the Chargers have one of the deepest teams in football. Without Derwin James, it's a little bit tighter. But there's just a different kind of secondary that Patrick Mahomes is going to face. And it's also coming with a different front 7. One of the most elite in football. The depth that they have in that front 7, the ability they have to take guys off the field, put new guys in, and the pressure's still right there in your face. That's exactly what you need to stop Patrick Mahomes, if not slow him down enough. I like the +4 too. I think this is a show first, at least for this year. Me and Andy on the same side.
It's very weird. I feel I want to change my pick now.
Here's another thing. The Cardinals had 2 different size QB or corners. They have a 6'4", 240 guy, and then they have a 5'11", 190 guy. Not going to be the case this week. They're going up against both dudes, 6 foot, 6'1", 210 pounds, with quickness, coverability, and they're kind of both ball hawking defenders. So Juju Smith-Schuster isn't the type to break away from that type of defender. I just like +4.
So I don't know if it was a first in show history for you guys to agree, but it's definitely a first in show history for all 3 of us to agree. And I did not think when we were all on this that we were going to all be on the Chargers. It's interesting kind of following what's going on in the betting market and different people I follow on Twitter. There's a pretty good split. A lot of money, it seems like, on the Chargers side of things. I saw an interesting stat. Teams that win by 21 or more in week 1, they cover 27% of the time in week 2 since 2010. The Chiefs obviously dominated the Cardinals. Is that because the Chiefs are great? Is that because the Cardinals are not good? That's the challenge this week, is not being kind of overreacting too much to week 1, because you don't have a whole lot of data. You just have one game. One game sample size is not a good thing to be making judgments on. Andy made a good point. J.C. Jackson coming back. The other thing that I bet, not only on the Chargers +4, but I also took the under. On Better Edge, we got under 54.5. That's a lot of value in our competition, because the under everywhere else is somewhere around, I'm pulling it up, see a consensus line. This is bad YouTubing. 53.5. So you're getting another point advantage in our competition. So I'm going under there. Another interesting stat, Thursday night totals 54.5 or higher are 7-0 to the under, covering by nearly 14 points. I think it's since 2010, if I remember correctly. So a lot of times the short week, it doesn't apply, sometimes, but like the short week, it's hard for these teams to get ready to play. So I have 2 plays on that one. And we're all united on the Chargers. So hopefully, I don't know how you want to think about that for the competition, but
hey,
you're
Sean,
not going to get ahead of it.
I'm gonna need you to give me some of these like data points in the chat before the show, because I love this information. This information will really skew my decisions half the time.
Appreciate that, man. And you know what? And it's interesting because I'm going to go off the cuff here in a second about one of my picks that has absolutely no data. It is just completely just whatever I felt like. And we'll get to that in a second, though. But Tony's up first. Georgia, South Carolina. I've actually been to 2 of these games, one in Georgia and one in South Carolina when I used to live down there. It's a great atmosphere. I don't think it's going to be a great game, though. Tony, take it away.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Georgia's running game is built to kind of attack South Carolina and all the places they need to cover this spread. Until Georgia proves to me that they're not the most dominant team of football, I'm going to do what my brain says, my heart says, keep taking them, keep taking that spread. 24 points, 24 and a half in our competition. It's a little bit tougher than 24. If I could juice that line down, I would. But I'm taking this. I would probably take it up to 27 if I had to. Georgia's really good.
And again, before I swing it back to Tony, on Better Edge, this is where you can go in the marketplace. You might say, you know what, 28, 4 touchdowns. I feel Georgia's going to just smack them. You can throw that line out there and see if anybody else wants South Carolina plus 28. That might intrigue somebody because it is a hard number to cover. I mean, when you get to those big numbers, especially if you get up early, you start putting the other kids in the second half to avoid injuries. So that's something you can do on Better Edge. Definitely check it out if you are interested in that line. So we got Tony on Georgia minus 24.5, and Tony's up again with the Baylor Texas State game. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is an interesting matchup. I'm not 100% sure what the Texas State Bobcats can do. I think Baylor basically covers this game almost by themselves. But then I had second thoughts. Just first thing I'm going to do is take the over in this matchup. Okay. 53 points with
53, yeah.
Yeah, 53 with plus money. I like that here because I think both teams have opportunities to score on each other. When I rewatch some of those Baylor highlights, their secondary's piss poor. I do think that there's going to be places for the Bobcats to sling the ball, and they have, a young gunslinger. That's what that guy's there to do, is just throw verticals. Baylor's defense is getting a lot of points, and I understand that. The pass rush from Baylor is going to be in the Bobcats' face all day. But as long as there's enough of a pass protection to get the ball into the secondary, there's speed on the outside in order to score a few points. I like both the over and the plus 30. I'm taking the Bobcats plus 30 and the 53 over on this game. I think it's one of those sneaky games that's going to make me some money this week, or at least I hope.
I like it. I thought you were going to say that when you were reviewing the Texas State games. I was like, no way, Tony. Like, you are not going back and watching Texas State. But you redeemed yourself with Baylor, yeah. Let's see. I'm up next. Oklahoma, Nebraska. This is the one I talked about a second ago. I don't have any data. They fired Scott Frost, and that has to be good for something. By not having him there to make stupid decisions like onside kick when you're up 2 touchdowns and could kill your momentum. I don't know what Scott Frost is doing this week, but since he's not coaching the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they're coming home. Oklahoma's the better team, but I'm getting 11.5 points. That's good enough for me. I'm taking Nebraska plus 11.5 in this old style Big 12. Maybe Andy has the beefy white boys comments coming here soon, but I'm going Nebraska. Where we at? Andy's up next. Cal and Notre Dame. I don't know where he's going with this. Notre Dame, my guy Marcus Freeman, I was excited about him, but shoot. 2 losses in a row, 3 to start his career if you count the bowl game. Andy, what you got on this one?
I know where he's going.
Brother, we all know, the whole world knows where this is going. Notre Dame 0-2, lost to Marshall. I repeat, this must be repeated. Lost to Marshall. They had a big old opening week against Ohio State. Oh, this matchup, 2 ranked opponents. These guys will not be ranked the rest of the year. They're not going to cover against the Golden Bears. They actually know how to win a football game. Okay, well, what you doing?
I love it.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Bro, Jack Plummer, he might put up 4 touchdowns on this defense. I don't know if he's related to Jake Plummer or not. I was trying to figure it out right now. Don't have enough time. I don't think he is. Golden Bears plus 10.5. Take it.
Rudy's not walking through that door.
Nope.
No, sir.
Manti Te'o and his fake girlfriends are not walking through that door.
They might be in the stands, though.
They could be, or just in your imagination. Who knows? Next up, Tony is with Akron and Tennessee, the Vols and Zips. Go ahead, Tony.
God, I've watched so much Akron football this year. For
Too
some
much
reason,
Akron football.
it's the only unranked team I've ever watched so much in my life. They're really bad. They're a terrible football team, and I'm just
They're 47 and a
winning
half point dogs. 47 and a half point dogs.
I personally, you ready for this? Tennessee can cover that. Tennessee might cover this over themselves. I'm not going to play because I think 47's way too many points for me to play either side of that line. But this 66 point over, give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Akron is a terrible, terrible football team. Tennessee is competent enough to at least put 45 on them. And that's a low number for me. So if Akron scores the ball even once, I think this over gets covered.
All right. Akron, Tennessee over 66 and a half. Next up is Andy, Michigan State and Washington. Let me tell you the line here in a second. Go ahead. I don't know why I can't find it right now. Go for it, Andy.
Brother, Washington is not that good of a football team. I understand that they have looked better this year than they have last year. Last year, they looked absolutely terrible. But I will say that I really expect Michigan State's rushing attack to take over. They've been doing very well this year, just like they did last year, even without Kenneth Walker III. Sure, Washington's won 2 games, big points against really sorry competition. When you go against Portland State, I'm not giving you many bonus points for that. So I expect Michigan State to definitely cover the line. May you please remind me what the line is?
Michigan State is Washington is a 1-point favorite. The over-under is 55.
Yes, that is exactly why I took Michigan State, because it's literally +1. So there's no way.
All you got to do is win.
All you got to do is win. I don't see them losing, so.
I like it. Going to the West Coast can be tough for those teams sometimes, but I think you got a good pick there. I know where you're going with this, and I think it is the Miami Hurricanes going to Texas A&M. Texas A&M that lost last week to Appalachian State. That's been like your team. You always reference you had stepdad or something played on the Appalachian State, right?
Yeah. My stepdad played Appalachian State, so I'm always kind of peeking them out. I actually think that I hit an X in the wrong spot. I don't have that game. I have Texas Tech versus North Carolina State. But we can talk App State if you want.
Oh no, Andy has that game. I was just
okay, got you.
But where Andy's going with this. Go ahead, Andy. Tell us why Miami's going to cover.
Brother, the offense of Texas A&M put up 7 points. 1 touchdown was kick return. Remember, 7 points from the A&M offense on App State. The same App State who allowed 60+ to North Carolina with a brand new offense. Brother, this Miami plus 5.5, this is una falta de respeto. Bro, take it with your eyes closed. I don't need to give much analysis on this game. You're telling me Chase Bryce, I love that guy. He beat A&M in the 12th man. You're going to tell me Tyler Van Dyke can't do the same, can't put up 5 TDs on these boys? Again, I'm going to repeat. Haynes King, A&M's quarterback. He's not good. He could not put up 100 yards last week. He's going to put yards on the Miami defense?
Andy, I just want to let you know one thing, man. This might change it because I know you said you wanted data, right?
Give me your data.
Texas A&M leads the country in red zone efficiency at 100%.
Yeah? How many attempts have they had in the red zone, brother?
They are 1 for 1. If they get there, they are efficient, man. I'm just telling you.
According to the data, if they get there, they'll get a score. However, unfortunately, Leonard Taylor III, James Williams, these boys are not going to let them get anywhere close to the red zone. This is going to be, I think Miami's going to win by 10 points, brother. Tip me that plus 5.5. We're going to show the world SEC ain't nothing compared to the Canes.
I like it. Our last college game is on my card, Fresno State USC. This is a good one. Starts at 10:30, so when you lose all your bets all day. You can always just try to throw it down on that late Pac-10 game and see if you can even out once you wake up from your hangover on Sunday. And I'm going with the shootout here, Fresno State USC. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. USC's defense is terrible. Their offense is a juggernaut. Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison that transferred. He was an elite wide receiver last year before he went in the transfer portal. You get Fresno State to score like 21 points. I think USC takes care of the rest. And this number is great. 71.5 compared to the consensus line everywhere else is 74.5. You're getting 3 points advantage right here. I thought about going with Fresno because I think that in a high-scoring game they can keep up with them a little bit. But I leaned after that and just went with the value of that over 71.5.
Bro,
that wraps. That's a lot of points.
You can go over?
Over 71.5. You get like they score 50. All you need is Fresno State to get 21.
Yeah, 3 TDs.
I mean, it's a lot of points. Don't get me wrong, but that USC team, they can score the ball, and their defense can't guard anybody. I mean, it is pathetic. It's terrible. It's so we'll see. That's a late night game. That ends our college slate. We want to just remind you guys about Better Edge. They are our sponsor for this show. They are the official betting sponsor of 5 Reasons Sports. You can use our code betteredge.com/5 reasons. You spell better, BETTOR. And then it's the number 5 reasons. You get $20 on sign up. You can use that right off the bat. We've talked last week about how some of us, including Greg Sylvander, has basically turned $20 into a couple hundred. Everybody is doing really well on this. Like I said earlier, the marketplace is great. They have really cool competitions. You can bet anything from MLB, WNBA. It's everything, is there. So they have player props and different things. So just check out that marketplace. Use that code. You can use our code also, betteredge.com/setting the edge with dashes in between. You can still get that $20 sign-up bonus. That will take you to our competition. But it's definitely a cool thing. I'm really enjoying it. It's taken me a while to get used to, and I will, we kind of preface that it is unique in the app, but once you start getting used to it, man, it's really good.
Yes, sir.
It's fun. It's a cool concept of what they're doing, and I think we're having a lot of success with it here at 5 Reasons. So,
hey, if I may, Sean,
go for it.
Just so you guys know, when you guys sign up, get those $20. Don't feel discouraged if you only have 77 cents left, because I did last weekend, and now I'm back up to $40. All right, so
wait, Andy's the pacer next week. He's the
yeah. I turned $20 into 77 cents. I put my last like $10 on Miami -3 last weekend, and they always pay back. So let's go Fins.
So it's going to be like a Disney story someday, like the man with 77 cents. He drank a mojito on a YouTube show and turned it into millions.
Hey, what's up, man? Don't hate on my mojito. You wish you was drinking one right now.
I do.
I don't know if I'm drinking one.
Yo, let's jump into the NFL card. We starting off with the Tampa Bay Bucks, the New Orleans Saints. Shout out to our guy Ray. He's doing cool things. I heard him talking yesterday on Spaces about the Saints. Yep. It almost inspired me to pick the Saints, but I didn't. So Tony, you're on your own on this one.
I wanted to treat this game like a no pick too. I feel like 44 is too low of a number. I'm taking that over in that game. Both of these offenses are powerful enough to put up 20 points by themselves. I think there's opportunities for the Saints to score a lot more. I also think there's opportunities for Saints to win, but either way, I like the over. It's the best play of the game. It's only -101, so taking that with the value.
Really good over.
Like it. Yeah, I like that one. It's going to be a good game. I don't know. I mean, we have the Bucks are favored by 2.5 in New Orleans. I would, if you give me 3 plus 3, I take the Saints. But 2.5, I don't like that number. I get too picky about that type of stuff.
We talk about live bets behind the scenes sometimes. This might be a game I'll play live. If someone puts a line up that I think is a little ridiculous, I would love to take the other side of it. I'm going to be watching. I'll definitely take it.
No, I don't feel good that I'm agreeing a little too much with Tony today. Something's wrong in there.
Yeah. Check your temperature. And that's a great point about the betting live. I didn't know Better Edge did that until last week. I bet on the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. I went in there and looked at the live bets. I saw the little button. I bought Seahawks +7, still even money, with the Seahawks after they scored that first touchdown, that really weird, like Geno made that crazy play, one of his crazy plays. So they were already up 7-0. The live line anywhere else is not +7 anymore. And so I got it again at that advantage. And now I'm up 14-0. So check that out. I don't want to tell people that because now that's competition that's buying those lines when I'm trying to get them.
Yeah.
But definitely check that out. The next game is one of 3 times that me and Tony are on the same game. I really hope we are opposite because I want to butt heads a little bit here. Nothing against you, Tony, but I think it's more entertaining, So Patriots and Steelers. It would be an epic matchup.
I have never on this show agreed with the bet the house mentality.
Oh my. Oh boy.
Bet the fucking house tonight. Bet the house. Bet the house. This is the most disrespectful line I've ever seen given to a home team against inferior competition in my life. The Pittsburgh Steelers plus 1.5 at plus money in our competition is a surefire lock. Lock it in, lock it down. Mac Jones is terrible. And I know me and Andy butted heads on this earlier, but the front 7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers is as good as the Miami Dolphins is, if not in the interior better. I think they face the same kind of pressure. I think Mac Jones looks the same way. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers are finding ways to keep their continuity, play decent enough football to win games. The New England Patriots are bad. They looked bad. They looked helpless last week. The Steelers at home plus 1.5. Yeah, give me that money. Give me that value. I'm going to take it every single time.
Andy?
Well, me, I don't got nothing on this game, but I will continue with what Tony's saying. If you watch that Bengals-Steelers games, Steelers played much better than I expected them to, and they were right there with the Super Bowl runner-ups. This line is outrageous. I should have played this one, but I didn't.
Yeah. It's the Black Air Force factor, okay? He bought everybody Black Air Forces. Look what's happening.
They're ready to rock, bro. Ready to rock.
I have bad news.
Uh-oh.
My pick is the New England Patriots minus 1.5.
What's up with you, Sean?
So we are opposite on your Bet the House special. Here is why. Andy, get ready. First of all, no Watt. That's the big thing. I think that injury is a killer, and I still think the Steelers' defense is great. I understand what you're talking about. I did not expect them to compete as well as they did against the Bengals, although I did have Pittsburgh plus points last week. Mm-hmm. Mitchell Trubisky, you said that Mac Jones is terrible. Mitch Trubisky is probably terribler or worser, whatever you want to say there. Could be the first time, if they finish as Patriots being favored, to be the first time the Steelers are dogs in the first 2 weeks of the season since 2010, and only the second time it's happened since 1995. Were either of you alive in 1995? No. You're babies, probably. Yeah, you're like 1 year
5
old.
months. 5 months.
I was freaking killing it in 5th grade at that point. Anyways, since 2018, I got more numbers. Since 2018, Mike Tomlin, after an upset win, he rah-rahed him to the victory last week, right? He was a 7.5 point dog last week.
7.5.
He's 1-7 against the spread in the following week after that upset win. Mike Tomlin can't do it 2 weeks in a row. The Black Air Forces only take you so far. Also, Bill Belichick, after a loss last week, got spanked by the Dolphins. After a loss, Bill Belichick in his career, 48-22 against the spread, 67% covers by 7 points. 29-9 against the spread on the road after a loss, that's 76%. And 25-3 against the spread, 89% after a loss as a dog of 7 points or less. He covers by 11 points. I'm just saying, I'm going with Bill Belichick. I'm trusting that he's going to put together a game plan. The Steelers aren't good. The Patriots aren't good. I should take the points. I'm going to tease the Steelers up to plus 7.5 when I get to those things. But I'm sorry, Tony, I'm opposite. I'm going with the Patriots.
Trust in analytics. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it.
I know.
I understand the Belichick factor, though. Like, he's going to be pissed. He was pissed off on game day that he was losing. So he's going to put his whole heart, mind, and soul into this game plan, whatever he's going to do. It is not too hard to game plan against, Trubisky. But
and they only crossed like the 40-yard line like one time. They were like Texas A&M. They did not have any offense. They had that one for the first drive where the ball got deflected and X picked it off. But
I think that Mac Jones gives you the potential for half decent football, right? I do think you're right. Mitchell Trubisky's a worse quarterback. But I was kind of impressed he didn't turn the ball over that whole game. And if he just manages that offense and this stays low scoring, I mean, this could go either way. I really probably should have played this.
I agree.
At home, Pittsburgh, it's really hard to bet against them. I'm not going to lie.
That's true. All right, let's move it into the next one. Andy's on this one. The Carolina Panthers and then the future NFC East champion New York Giants. As I told you last week, they were going to come out and get a dub, and they did. The Giants are favored this game at home by 2.5 points. Over-under is 42.5. Andy, go ahead.
Sean, have you let the people know you're playing the Giants this year? Or you want to hold off until the end of the year?
Yeah, I told you they're going to win the NFC East. I had them at plus 800. I think it's down to like plus 500 right now. Yeah, they'll be a favorite in a couple weeks. Dallas, look at them. Dak's out. Eagles barely squeaked by the Lions. Who are we competing with? The Commanders and Carson Wentz. He looked good last week. I mean, all right, we'll see. I'm sorry to take the stage away from me, Andy. Go ahead.
No, brother, I am really impressed with your play on the Giants because you look good right now. And last week, I just want to mention everybody that Colts and Texans game. Like, how did Sean he saw into the future, or he had a little too much mojitos that day? It's great. This man is a genius. Anyway,
Rex Burkhead.
I have Damon Pierce, bro. I'm so sad. Anyway, Panthers, Giants. I don't know who's going to win. I think it's going to be a nice scoring game. The over-under is at 42.5. For me, that's way too low. Give me the over on that. Neither team is a world beater, but they both got playmakers. Two of the best running backs in football between them. Expect some game-breaking plays because neither team really boasts a great defense.
Saquon looked good. Props to him.
Yeah, that was my first-round pick. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I think most of the league is petitioning for him to be a comeback player. I would love that.
Yeah. That's for sure. All right, the next one is the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. We have Andy and myself on this one. We already know what Andy's playing. So, Andy, just go ahead and tell us what you got on this one. Go ahead.
Whoop, whoop. Bet the house special.
Ooh.
I don't like to do bet the house specials on my home teams, okay? I get a little too influenced. But, brother, plus 4.5 over the Ravens. Bro, Ronnie Stanley, if he comes back this week, their starting left tackle might not be 100%. Jawan James out. So that there you go. Ogba Phillips is going to have a field day on that O-line. All right. Kyle Fuller out. They're starting slot corner. J.K. Dobbins not really playing. The running game did not look good against the Jets. The Jets. They barely put up like 23 points on the Jets. Just repeat that. The Jets. Miami, their offense every week is going to get stronger and stronger. I expect the Ravens wide receivers to have a quiet day because they don't have much talent out there. They have Bateman. Bateman was quiet. Devin Dunleavy looked good, but 4 targets, 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. I don't expect him to repeat that, especially not on X if he gets that shadow matchup. Mark Andrews is going to play well. He always going to play well. He's going to get a lot of targets. And, of course, Lamar Jackson is going to do his thing. But this Dolphins defense, just like we did last year, we're going to show you guys how to slow down that MVP candidate, Lamar Jackson. Give me Dolphins plus 4.5 and give me under 45.5. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I'm also on the under. I started to go Dolphins. I changed my pick. I kind of want to see a little more. I thought the Dolphins looked great, obviously, but I don't want to overreact and think that, could the Patriots be really bad, like we've talked about maybe, or the Dolphins really good? I agree. The Dolphins, they've had the blueprint. Last year they upset Lamar. Obviously, some of the defensive staff is not there. We didn't talk about that. That's the other thing in that New England game is with Flores being the Pittsburgh defensive coordinator in there, and he's had success against Belichick. So I think that's maybe Bill will text him before the game, or maybe he'll text Brian Dable. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that one, but I am also on the under in this game, under 45.5 for all the reasons Andy already said. Next one I have is Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars. I am riding solo on this one. I have the Jaguars plus 4.
Fading the Colts again?
I'm fading the Colts again.
Boy.
Andy, I know you're going to like to hear this one, but last week the Colts were down 17 to the freaking Houston Texans, led by Rex Burkhead and Davis Mills. Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks. And your guy, Damian Pierce, I won't forget him, obviously. He was
And Brevin Jordan represent the U.
And Brevin Jordan representing the U. Yeah.
Still.
Listen, going to Jacksonville is a house of horror for the Colts. 6-0, the Jags are the last 6 meetings in Jacksonville against the Indianapolis Colts. They've covered by 21 points and won by 16 points per game in those wins. Michael Pittman's got a hammy to the detriment of my fantasy team. Alec Pierce, one of their other receivers. If you don't know who that is, he plays for the Indianapolis Colts because the receivers suck, besides Michael Pittman. I just don't trust the Colts. And I know Jacksonville, I think that I won on them, or they barely missed the cover. They should have won against Washington. So I'm rolling with Jacksonville +4. It's going to be hot and humid. They're going to go down there. Those teams going down in the humidity in the early part of the season, I think sometimes is a struggle. So I'm going to roll with Jacksonville, and I think I could like them straight up. It's Jacksonville +4 though in our competition.
Hey Sean, have we stopped and thought that maybe Trevor Lawrence is not the generational talent that we all thought he was going to be? The reason they should have won last week, he missed some pretty easy throws, and one especially in the first quarter right to the end zone.
Wait. Are we going to give Lawrence that? Or are we going to say that Travis Etienne catches the ball like, our guy Joel Anthony back in the Big 3 era? Like, he had 2 touchdowns gift wrapped to him. But you're right. He threw a pick. I think it was early fourth quarter that turned that game around. Who knows? It's hard to judge a guy.
He hasn't been great. I don't know.
Yeah. He's in the second year. We go through the same stuff when we talk about Tua, young quarterback. Doesn't have a ton of talent around him, but
Tua's a savage. That's the difference.
I agree. And Doug Peterson will help him. Tony can vouch for that. Doug Peterson's a good quarterback coach for sure. Let's move it into the next one. This is me and Andy again going head to head. Falcons and the Rams. Rams are favored by 11.5, over under 47.5. I'll let Andy go first.
Fellas. This is really disrespectful, bro. 11.5 for the Falcons.
I don't think it's that disrespectful, personally.
Bro, did we watch the same games last weekend, Matt? 26-24, they lost. I understand they were up big. They did what they did to choke, but we don't need them to win. We just need them to cover by almost 2 touchdowns. Rams are still hungover off the off that Super Bowl, and there's not really a home field advantage for any football team that plays in LA. It's a very, very foul weather town unless you're talking about the Dodgers and the Lakers. Okay, they're still nursing injuries, particularly to Brandon Allen, their starting center. So watch out for some terrible snaps. I just don't see this team blowing anybody out right now. Falcons, they're not going to do great, but they're going to do good enough to cover. 11.5 Falcons.
Andy, I don't know if you have access to my note sheet, but you basically took every bullet point that I had produced about this game. I also have the Falcons plus 11.5. It's too many points. The public is just assuming the Rams, they were Super Bowl champs. They got beat up by the Bills. The Bills are they're automatically going to win the AFC according to everybody. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl. It's already over. The Rams looked awful. Their O-line is terrible. You said their center is out. Their tackle is also hurt. Stafford was under pressure constantly, and he's not really a good athlete. He's old. Allen Robinson, their big free agent pickup, looks slower than damn Omer Yurtseven trying to guard somebody in space. I just don't understand it. Like the Falcons really, they look good against the Saints, and I think the Saints are a pretty good team. So I'm rolling with you. Me and Andy were on the same page. Falcons plus 11.5. My apologies to Omer. He took a stray right there on that one. I didn't really mean that, but he is kind of slow. So that's first thing that came to mind when I was talking about that.
Out of all the players in the NBA, you had to pick a Heat player to trash, bro. Come on, man.
I know. I'm sorry. He looks slower than Russell Westbrook's feet in that last shooting video that he just put out.
So why does Russell always got to get tried, man?
Yeah, it's all right.
Don't have a jumper that has 3 separate components. I mean, what do you want?
Andy, you're up back-to-back here. You got the 49ers and Seahawks game as well as the Browns and Jets game. So go ahead and give us those 2 picks.
All right, this is another one where the minute I saw the line plus 8.5, I said, wait, what? Seattle plus 8.5 over the Niners. Let's start off. Geno looked pretty freaking good against a stout Denver defense. And Seattle had to go head-to-head against Judy, Sutton, Javonte Williams, Gordon, Russ, the whole crew. Like, that's a great team they have there in Denver. They just got to mesh together. And they looked great, and they won. I have zero faith in Trey Lance. I know he's technically a rookie because he's playing his first games now, and all this crap. And I don't like him. He doesn't look good to me, unless against the Seattle defense. I'm a little biased toward against 49ers because Miami has their pick. So I'm going to be investing heavy for them to implode. But just haven't looked great. They've been facing injuries. They lost Mitchell. They're running back. Like, there's no way Seattle loses by more than a touchdown. There's no way.
Just saw what Tony put in the chat about Trey Lance and them strippers. That's interesting. Proud of my quarterback. He's my fantasy quarterback. He did not look good last week. Hopefully he dried out from all that rain. Tony or Andy, go ahead with your Browns and Jets pick also.
Oh, brother. Well, this is like with my eyes closed. My notes literally say Jets suck. Like, the Browns have
good note.
The Browns have a pretty well-built team besides, their starting quarterback at the moment. But, the D-line, good. Receivers, good. They have weapons. Two-headed monster running back. The Nick Chubby Chubster out there. Like, Browns minus 6.5. They're going to win by more than a touchdown. We can lock that in. Joe Flacco is – it's not 2012. It's not 2012, unfortunately, for the Jets. So, give me Browns minus 6.5. Jets going to lose again. As per usual. I might just go against the Jets every game this year.
Good bet.
It's probably a good strategy over the last, 10 to 15, 20 years. I like that one too. I don't have it as one of my picks, but it's definitely something I want to tease. If I can tease it down, you get past the 7 and the 3. That's a good one there. Tony and I are on the same two picks here, or same two games, I should say. First one is Bears and Packers. This is Sunday Night Football. The Packers are favored by 9.5, and the over/under is 44.5. Tony, what you got on that?
I've made a lot of money over the years betting on early season Aaron Rodgers unders. Every year he has to come back with a new pool of wide receivers and get on the same page, and it doesn't ever look great to open, and usually looks really good at the end of the season to push them into the playoffs. But I was disappointed with the Packers defense last week more than anything. You say what you want about them putting up one touchdown on offense, but giving away so many points on the other side of the ball was a real surprise to me. And the Bears feel like one of those teams that are not going to be good, but each week can put up 14 to 21 points pretty consistently. They have a decent running game and a quarterback that just manages the game enough to not turn the ball over and give the other team a lot of variance. I think Green Bay's kind of bad right now. I don't think they are a bad football team. This is just the growing pains you go through when you don't have your starting wide receiver and a whole crop of young guys to try and support Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking the Bears 9.5, just like you took the Falcons 11.5. I think that line's just too high. It's plus money, and the Bears will find a way to put up at least 14 points in this matchup.
The Bears.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tony. Either you are going to make some money in this, or you're not going to make some money. It's going to go either way, like the Deuces podcast. We're opposite on this one also. I have the Packers minus 9.5. I would agree it is a lot of points, but here is why I trust Aaron Rodgers and even though he has a horrible haircut, I'm just going to trust that he's going to get it done. 23-5 straight up, 21-7 against the spread against the Bears. He owns the Bears. Yep. He's beat them the last 6 games, 8-1 straight up, 9-0 against the spread after a loss when he plays the Bears. It's just 12-2 straight up and against the spread in home openers, 27-12 in division games at home. Like, I just trust Aaron Rodgers. And I checked the weather. It's going to rain in the morning, and it's going to be cloudy in the afternoon. So I don't think the Justin Fields magic of playing in a monsoon is going to work. He only completed 8 passes last week.
Bro, it was a freaking hurricane in there, bro.
It was crazy.
And he still got 2 TDs.
He did. I give them credit. Like, they got a good win against the 49ers. It helps the Dolphins because of the pick thing. But I'm going to trust my guy Aaron Rodgers. But I think Tony's right, though. If you give me 10, now I start thinking Bears, but I'm gonna roll with it. I couldn't find anything else. This was like my 9th or 10th pick, definitely on the bottom of my list.
Sean,
I saw all the analytics too, and I was like, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it just cause plus money.
It's hard sometimes though when you talk about guys like that or Brady or Belichick, because you start getting into these analytics and that's a huge sample size, but it's also like Aaron Rodgers is still very good. He's the MVP last year, but like,
Yeah.
situations change, So like the Belichick stuff I told you about in Pittsburgh, he didn't have Tom Brady. He's got Mac Jones. He doesn't have the same team that he normally had. So, you can trend betting is great. The numbers will convince you that this is a lock and you're going to lose money. It doesn't always work. I will caution you on that. I'll throw numbers out all day long. I believe in them, but you gotta still be cautious. It's gambling for a reason.
Sean, I'm
last
asking,
one.
You missed on one analytical note. I need to know the historical data, wins and losses for Aaron Rodgers when he's on shrooms during the game. I need to.
Let me check really quick here. Yeah, I don't have that one.
No, it's not
I
ready.
did have. Yeah, unfortunately, I'll check into it though. I'm sure it's somewhere.
Because the humidity and the rain in Chicago is going to help them grow. He might have a nice batch ready.
That is true. Mushrooms do like moisture. Last game, Monday Night Football. There's actually 2 Monday Night Football games this week, Tennessee and Buffalo, but we don't have that game for our picks. Vikings and Eagles. Tony's Eagles. I'm going to let Tony go first.
I, at the top of the show, talked to you about how disappointed I was in the D-line. I do think that there's a rebound this week. But everybody and their mom, all of the money is going Minnesota's way in this game. And I am not stupid enough to bet against Vegas in this way. I think Philly still has a couple things to prove to me. I still believe they're one of the deepest teams in the league, but what does that matter if your starters can't make a significant impact in a matchup? But because I trust them and I think the Vikings are also a pretty good team, I'm taking the over in this matchup. 49 points seems attainable to get over for both squads. I do kind of really love plus value, plus 194 in our competition, -3. Philly is at home. But they just worry me a little bit. So I'm going to take the over on this matchup and trust Kirk Cousins not to be a super impactful quarterback, which has worked out pretty well for me in the past.
Yeah, this is one that you got to kind of caution again with the overreaction. The Vikings look great. Justin Jefferson looked like the greatest receiver ever. They beat up on the Packers, who teams, everybody kind of thought was going to be a good team. Do we know what they are? We're talking about that with, the Bears game. So I went with the Vikings +3. I'm following the public, like Tony said, which always scares me. I did hear this nugget on the radio the other day here in Philly that the Eagles really struggled against stopping the run against 11 personnel. And the Vikings run more 11 personnel than anyone last week. And Kevin O'Connell, the new Vikings coach last year in Los Angeles with the Rams, ran a lot of 11 personnel. Mm-hmm. I don't know where you go with that. The Vikings obviously have Cousins. They have Cook. They have Jefferson. The Eagles, they have a star-studded lineup. I think it's going to be a great game Monday night at 8:30, but I went with the Vikings +3. Following the public. I don't know if I like that, though. So we'll see. Anyways, last thing we'll close up with here. Last week, I don't even remember. I forgot to write them down, who you guys picked for the Super Bowl, but I will give you the opportunity if you'd like to change your pick now or just restate who you picked last week if you're sticking with that prediction. Let's start with Tony.
I love staying on things until teams prove that they make me wrong. So I'm staying with the 2 deepest teams in the league. I still believe the Eagles and the Chargers, 2 deepest teams that football can put out there right now. The Bills are a strong competitor for second, but I just love the edge rushers and the Chargers. So that's my Super Bowl still.
Who did you pick to win? I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Damn.
Oh, okay. I thought you did that last week, man. I mean, you picked the Eagles?
Go ahead.
All right.
I don't feel great about it anymore.
Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, last week I had Green Bay and Denver. You really got me on the spot last week. I really want to change those picks. I just don't know to what. On the NFC side, damn, Sean, I have no idea what's going to win Super Bowl this year. This league is so deep this year.
It's awesome.
Like, extremely deep.
Every team that I thought was going to be terrible, except for the Jets. They're competitive. Like the Bears put out a competitive team, and I thought they were going to get steamrolled all year.
Yeah, I might go Bills. The Bills look nasty, unfortunately. Bills, and on the NFC side, I don't know if I could trust anyone right now, but I'll just stay with the former MVP Green Bay. Green Bay versus Bills.
So just to confirm, since I am the pace car, and it would be to our advantage if I'm an absolute idiot and know nothing about football, I picked last week the Ravens over the Rams, and so I look like a complete fool. I mean, the Ravens looked okay. The Rams looked like absolute trash. So I'm not going to change my pick yet just because I don't want to make that overreaction to week one, but I am definitely starting to look and evaluate, especially on the NFC side, who I'm picking because the Rams did not look good at all.
NFC is so tough this year to pick.
It is, and you know, things will sort themselves out as the season goes along, and it's hard to just evaluate on one week, but I'll stick with it. It does not make me look good, and that is why you should go to betteredge.com/setting the edge with dashes in between each word, setting the edge. It's on the bottom of the screen if you don't know how to spell those things out. You can also go to betteredge.com/5 reasons with the number 5. Get yourself a $20 sign-on bonus. Join us. Bet on the marketplace. You join the competition. It's only $5. All you have to do is beat us, or beat me, I should say, not beat us. They're going to beat me probably and take some money too. But if I win, I take all the money to myself. So should be interesting this weekend. You can still join all the way through Sunday as long as there are still 10 picks available. You can pick those. It's just 10 college and NFL games, sides or totals. We froze them on Wednesday when we started the competition, so they don't change with line movement. Last thing I will say is if I win and I take all that money down, I might just take a week off because I'm going to be so loaded. You're going to have to find a new guest. You're going to have to find a new host. Somebody else is going to have to do this. Call up, I don't know, Tropical Baby, the Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, Ethan Skull. Somebody's coming in here. We might, I don't know, but it's not going to be.
We got to get Greg. That's the Greg week. The week you take off, that's the Greg week.
Yeah, no, he's not taking any week off. He's not winning this week. He's getting second place, and I'm getting first place, and I'm taking all that home, baby.
Starts tonight.
You guys wrote me off, but I ain't right back.
Chargers and the under. We're all on the Chargers. You still got about 20 to 25 minutes before kickoff to get that bet in on Better Edge. Tony, go ahead, and then we'll close it out.
One more thing. Vikings future. I think the Vikings are a really good football team. Good offensively, good defensively. They're plus 300 to win the NFC North. I put money on that today. I really like it on Better's Edge. You can bet futures on Better's Edge.
Didn't know you could bet futures on Better Edge. I learned something new tonight. All right, guys. Thank you. Manny, thank you for producing. Gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us.
Gentlemen, like always, remember to bet the house specials. This week we got Tony on our side. Tony has Pittsburgh plus 1.5. Very smart man over there. So listen to that man. Except when you go to get my picks. And we got Miami Dolphins plus 4.5. Hey, and you know what? Throw on that thing. You want to parlay that whole? Miami Hurricanes, 5.5. They're the underdogs. Miami's going to make you a lot of money this weekend. Don't play against them.
Manny's got to close this thing out before we start losing people money and getting crazy. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll be back next week, Thursday at 7.